Hello, world. I'm super excited. Today is the first episode of this spring, and joining me, a wonderful guest, Mr. Mafizul Islam, my friend Mafi. Hello, Mafi.
Hi, it's pleasure
How
to
are
be
you?
here. Not too bad, can't complain. It's a beautiful weather in New York today.
Fantastic. And everybody knows me. This is Shohag Mostafij, and I can't complain either. Bangladesh is having, we are about to have summer soon, and we are also experiencing a little bit of rainfall. And the weather is good. I like it anyway. So you are joining from New York, right?
Yes, currently, yes.
Okay. Good. And how is the weather in New York now?
Weather is not too bad. I mean, I think it's 7 degree today, and the sun is out. The weather looks beautiful. So it here is also that we are going towards the spring. So the spring vibe is there. So there was, last week there was some heavy snow, but from now on the forecast looks good. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Fantastic. Mafi, when was the last time you and we met face to face?
I remember the last
You
time
remember?
yes, I do remember actually. The last time it was almost 10 years ago. It was in a Save the Children canteen. It's the first floor of the Save the Children office. And you told me that you may not stay there for long. And I remember the last two conversations that we had. One is that you were telling me about the Robin Sharma competition, and I had a great interest on that, and I was exploring that. And also, I remember that I asked you, how does it feel like to be one of the youngest manager in Save the Children? Because for some reason, you somehow you maintain yourself, and you were looking so young. And all the managers and every senior person that I knew in Save the Children, they were. I mean, I don't know. Probably you did something to keep yourself to look that you are the cool guy, you are this young guy, I mean, cool with ideas and energy. So I had a lot of curiosity, and I remember that I was asking you all this question. And I think that was the last day. I can't remember exactly the month, but yeah, it was roughly 10 years ago.
Wow, I'm so honored. Thank you. You still remember that, Mafi, and I remember this as well. And dear audience, just for your kind information, Mafi and we had the privilege of working in the same organization called Save the Children 10, 12 years ago. And I happened to be one of the staff members. And Mafi, you were one of the interns, I guess, right?
I was
You were
intern,
very,
yes.
very young, I remember.
Yeah, that's why I started my career. Yeah, that's right.
Right. And afterwards, we didn't have much communication, but I kept on following you on social media, and I learned about your career. You have a phenomenal career over the years, and today I'm super excited that I will ask you a lot of questions. And please bear with me. You have to tell those stories, how things went with you, and what made you be a part of UN. You are working with UN, right?
Yes, I work with the United Nations Secretariat. Yes. Yes. So it's very special. One of the reasons that I really wanted to join with you is because you were one of the earliest person that actually that when I started my career, when I was in Save the Children, I was just an intern and doing internship, and I really loved interacting with you and learning a lot from you, and also at the same time, I mean, you being a manager, how you took your time to discuss with an intern, like you gave your time, you tried to discuss, you tried to share your ideas, and you also try to inspire. So I always kept you as one of my highly regarded persons. So that's why when you reached out to me, I was so happy that for whatnot, for this conversation or for this live session or whatever, I'll get to spend an hour time with you. So I'm so excited for that.
Thank you so much, Mafi. Oh, dear bro, it means a lot. It means a lot. You two were very curious as well, and I noticed one another intern called what was her name? Disha.
Disha, yes.
Yeah, she used to be your friend, and I remember you two were very curious, and you had a lot of questions, and you attended sessions and took the time to learn and listen to people. So this is also a great attribute. I'm sure all these things, curiosity, your great appetite for learning, and you were very driven. That's why today where you are. And I'm going to ask you those questions actually. How did you get to that level? So just to begin with, Mafi, again, thank you so much for making the time to join us. Why don't you tell us why do you do what you do?
That's a very interesting question. I don't really know that if I have figured that out yet, and if I don't know the answer that I would give, that would be it could look like a big political correct. It may look like it may not be what I wanted to say, that everything I would be able to say. But one of the things that I would definitely say is that what I do, why I do that is because when your passion and what you like to do, and you can do that professionally, and that makes things just amazing, and that gives you kind of superpower. So one of the things that I always say, that I think I have learned that from one of the TV series or movie I can really remember, is that what is actually, if there was any superpower, like we see the Marvel movies, DC movies, all the superhero movies, like what do you believe? What is the superpower that a human can have? And I have learned that was the power of positivity, right? You just, through the power of positivity, you can achieve anything. You can you can drive a revolution through the power of positivity. So the profession that I chose, I saw is full of positivity. That everything that I did, and I had the opportunity to work on projects, and many of these things is truly based on positivity, truly towards people, for the people, and for the betterment of this whole world. So I was always curious, and also I will be totally honest, I was also a kind of blinded by some of these brands, right? So when I was coming out of my university, when I would see these brands like Save the Children, and that I was living in Mirpur, then I would see the IDB building and the United Nations. And I always would feel curious, like, what do they do? And the way they communicate, the way the people I know, how different they are, what do they do, and how do they do those things? And I was from a completely different background. I studied telecommunication for my undergrad, so that was definitely not the one of the career that I would choose. What I do, I would choose for. But I'll be brutally honest, it's not something that I really aimed for, but my passion really did grow after I joined Save the Children. And actually, that everything that I have done so far, that if I could thank two persons in my life, one would be my academic professor, who I did my internship with, is Sir Dr. Nasim Adnan. He was not a doctor then, but he is now. He's teaching. He's still teaching. And another person is my first supervisor, is Ruxana Hossain. I'm sure you know her very well. So I will start with this. That how did I start really this love for this, that what I do? So the very first day that when I got there, when I went to Save the Children as an intern, and my first month, it was not something a pleasure experience. My supervisor, Ruxana ma'am, she was like, Mafizul, okay, you just joined, but you need to do this. You need to write a keyword. Okay, can you write a concept note for a multimedia classroom in a government primary school? And I was like, what is she talking about? I studied telecommunication. I don't know about this. I don't know. And then she was like, okay, these are some materials. These are some projects. These are the things that we do. And now you may not work with the primary school and the education system. You may not know the pedagogy, but you may know what are the tools can be used to enhance this. And I would get frustrated, but I would come with this concept that she would ask me to write a KOR, to hire a consultant or something like that. And then when I would do that, after a week, she would scrap everything out. She would cross everything out. Maybe she would keep one or two lines, or probably one or two paragraphs. And that would really, I was like, what is the meaning of that? Why she is doing that to me? She asked me to write something which is definitely not my that's not my the area of expertise, or that's not how, writing a concept note or keyword, that's really advanced level stuff. So actually, the day I left Save the Children, it was 14th of November, 2014, that day. And when I was leaving this organization, then Ruxana, she told me that why she did what she did then, and why she was so hard on us. She told me, like, listen, boy, you and Disha, you are two interns. The project we were running with 86,000 primary school, I needed two managers to run these projects. I needed two managers to run these projects. But because of the funding issue, because of many issues, I could only afford two interns. So I had no other options to make you think like a manager, to make you actually see what does it take. What does it take to learn how to think like a manager, how to act like, how you can support in a decision making in process. So that line alone, it's changed my life. That thing alone changed my life. And from there, I have learned is actually, if you really put your time, if you really have good mentors, if you really believe in something that can be done and it can change people's life, it doesn't matter what your education background, it doesn't matter. It's actually how many years of experience you have. You can always make things happen, and you can always change the world. So that was my motivation. And from there, I started my career. And we did. In 86,000 school, the software that we developed, only 4-person team, that is, that's now every school, every student in Bangladesh primary education, their information in that school, in that database. We developed back then, we developed e-monitoring system that they would take a tablet computer and they would track the performance of the school. Back then we started using sensors like proximity sensors and many of these things. Like now in modern days we talk about IoT, but back then, because of the mentor I had, Isusara ma'am, and the amazing team, Shodolda, Bijonda, and amazing people, and all the brilliant people, and in the DP and MOCME, that's actually they drive me and they taught me that how to learn. And from there, I never stopped, and I could see that bringing technology and really could see the bridge between that where the technology lies and the development are either humanitarian. If you can connect them, the result can be amazing. So since then, I took it as my passion. I used to love to play video games, and then I learned, I like to play video games, then I could take that learning I could kind of channel that, like how you can do programming then, not doing that and connecting people. And also, for some reason, I never knew that I was really good at training. I was not good at training. It's Ruxana ma'am who made me who taught me how to do training. And just the connection that you can have if you work in a development sector, just truly, you can connect with people, you can connect with your beneficiaries, and there is no limit that who you can connect with. You can be when you are in a development sector, you can be talking to a primary school student, or their teacher, or a government institution member, or you could be talking to a minister, or you could be talking to a professor in Harvard or any academic institution, so that what I do, I can literally be with the people from any demographic anywhere in the world. And it also aligns with my passion, because the wildest dream anyone can think of, I would challenge anyone who is not in the development sector or in the humanitarian sector, come to our sector and see any kind of technology you can think of, we are using it. Maybe we don't always showcase the way that you would showcase, but we do. And we do that with very limited resource. And the people, they are not engineers, they're not the technologists, but we know how to use this best to get best out of this system. So combination of all of that is that's why I do what I do. And the best thing is, any development sector, any humanitarian, UN organization, that what you work for people. No matter what you do, it goes towards, you are, even a tiny bit, you are contributing to a development or making the world resilient, no matter how and what you are doing. So it's just amazing. You have the brand, you have the passion, you can get to meet the people, and everything comes together. So yeah, that's awesome. That's why I do.
Fascinating. Mafi, you are literally doing a bit of branding for the development sector and attracting people, to be a part of that, especially the young people, right? And I can see the passion, the obsession, coming from your words. It's very clear. And yeah, I remember I can connect it when we used to have those conversations. You were a fresh graduate, very little experience, but you were always very curious. And now I can imagine that what got you where today you are. Certainly this is because of your passion, your commitment, your hard work, and which you literally made clear as well. So just in the best interest of our time, and just to let our audiences know, Mafi, why don't you tell us, where did you study, about your educational background and also your professional background? What are the positions you had, whether in different organizations, and being a part of UN headquarters is very exciting. And what is your current position? If you can elaborate a little bit on that, I'm sure our audiences would love it.
Yeah, of course, sure. So one of the first things that I would say, that any of the audience that if is listening to now, or if they may listen at later. So I haven't been to excellent academic programs, and let me start from the very beginning. Is that I studied in a government primary school, and then I studied in a high school that is in a rural area of Bangladesh, in a small village in Borishal. And from there, I was in Dhaka. I studied in a college there, in the college for Rifles College, and my undergrad was in electronics and telecommunication. So electronics and telecommunication, then jumping towards the development sector. How did that happen? It happened because of the curiosity, right? So, and also I went to a private institution. I didn't go to University of Dhaka. To be honest, did I make this choice? Did I have an option? No. Because it was highly competitive, and also the thing that I wanted to study, for some reason, I don't know what I was submerged with then. I was never the academic and excellent. I was always driven by things that are less academic, more practical, or that would bring pleasure to me, right? So in my undergrad, so I started doing a project. It's actually with one of our professor. His name is Nasim Adnan, and so on that project is actually we did something with VoIP, Voice over Internet Protocol, and from that project is actually that I got my internship and Save the Children. And it's interesting, how did that happen? In telecommunication, doing a project in Voice over Internet Protocol, and how did I end up in the internship? Is one thing is commitment. I was really committed, and I was really eager to learn, and I was really eager to prove myself that hey, the technology that I'm working with, and it can make life better, right? So that my professor Nasim Adnan, he picked it up from there. But he's like, this guy is committed. I reached out to many VoIP providers then that, VoIP was not that, I mean, it just got legal in Bangladesh. So they started giving out license. So I went above and beyond. So that's something that my professor liked about me. And when the time came, so I was actually recommended to Save the Children from my university. And my CGPA was not the best. I mean, my CGPA was, it was not bad, but it was not great. So I was definitely not one of the top, I would say 50 students when I graduated. And in my convocation, there was no star, no dean's list, nothing. But I was very persistent. When our electronics work, I started growing my passion toward computer science. I started growing passion towards like what are the things that you can build. So that actually took me far. So among hundreds of students, and I was not even in the computer science department, but Nasim Adnan, he was like, when a request came to our university, like, hey, how can you give us an intern that is a good intern and they would be able to develop a software? It was in C# and based on ASP.NET and SQL Server database that who can do that. And my professor was like, okay, I know one guy that he can do that. And I was sent from there. And not because I had the best academic background. It's not because I had the best CGPA. It's because I was committed. And my professor, for some reason, he was like, Mafizul, I can really see that you can make things happen. And I believe in you. I didn't really want to go for the interview in the Save the Children. He said, Mike, no, you go. I groomed so many students and I see the potential. And I went. And from there, I didn't stop. So in my professional career, I started in Save the Children. It's actually doing my intern there. And the first one of the project and that I worked on was actually is called e-primary system. So what we did is that we built a prototype how we could store information about the student so that we could do that analysis of how the performance of the student is working out. And then as part of the Digital Bangladesh initiative, government was also creating all sort of tools, and the timing couldn't be better. So the mandate of the government and mandate what we were trying to do was aligned. So luckily we got the access from Department of Primary Education, and also we had such a driven team. And Mostafij, what kind of team that we were working with in Save the Children. I mean, I don't know. Those people still. I remember our officers like Shadal Bhai, Bijonda. They are one of the most smartest and hardworking people I know as yet. I would say without a single doubt. I got to work with them. So we were basically only 3-person developing a small software. And then because we are working with the government, we had the chance to actually go and train people. So this is one of the best things that what brought me here, what I am. So I was given an assignment.
Mafi, yeah. Before you go to the next point, I remember that clearly. And Roxana Appa, she was so driven. Mm-hmm. And she used to supervise you people. Mm-hmm. And at that time, just to integrate that particular element of technology in that education system, but the way you were working in collaboration with the ICT, I suppose with Education Ministry, right? Mm-hmm. It was more of like a first of its kind at the time. It was not very easy because nowadays we talk about AI, machine learning, prototype, and so on. Every time, because we all are connected with technology in some way, right? And at that time, a decade ago, it was not that easy, but you were still very committed, very driven. And I suppose this is because of the leadership, and I'm sure Roxana Appa's leadership and your interest as a team player that made a difference. And I believe Roxana Appa will get to watch this episode at some point of time, and that would be great. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm not sure she uses Facebook. Yes, it was. I mean, truly amazing that what she was. I mean, and also that thing that she believed. And also we cannot deny one of the things is the contribution of Brack. Not really we work with Brack, that many of these things, the best practices that Roxana Appa that she would tell us is that she learned from Brack. So I just also wanted to tell you about that, is that how they designed the program. So we were also replicating many of these things, but we also had the flavor of this international experience from our backstoppers. So blended by the experience from the ground level, and also getting the help from the what's happening around the world, that we got this information through the whole international platform of Save the Children, the blending it in, and also with someone driven like Ruxana and all the colleagues that I just named, it just made it possible. So I'll just say one thing, that how it changed my career. So I was given one of the assignments is actually going to a school, and so we developed a online we developed an online system, right, with DPE, and also there was a software firm, it's Nanosoft. I cannot thank them enough. I don't think they made a single dollar from the project that we are working on, but they supported us like with their whole heart, right? So one of the assignment was to go into Kaliakot, that was our piloting area, and train 79 teachers to, within 2 days, how can you introduce them what computer is, and then teach them how they can enter information in Bangla using Unicode, how they can upload students and their information to an online platform in 2 days. And you know about the primary school teacher, you can have them. First of all, I have so much respect for them. And my idea was like, I'm going there, the age of the teacher starts from 27 and up to, it could be like, 55, 56, close to 60, and all of them. How can I do that? That someone never even touched the computer. And believe it or not, within 2 days of training, we did it. They all were entering information end of 2 days. How? I just showed them like, hey, this is your computer, start typing something. And they were amazed. I didn't try to teach them, this is monitor, this is keyboard. No, within 2 days, we couldn't do that. So they came and they typed their name. They saw there is A, there is a saw, there is a B. Of course, there are silly questions. Why the letters are scrambled? Why there is no ABC? Why it starts with ASDF? But some few things. But it's easy. They can type their name. And teaching Unicode is super easy. I taught them how can they open a Facebook account. They were all interested to open a Facebook account. But if you can open a Facebook account, you can enter information. You need to log in Facebook, you also need to log in. So I used their personal interest to translate that, to learn how the work was. And within 1.5 days, they all were amazing, and they were able to upload this information. And that's how I started. And that's how my managers, they were actually really, they could see like, no, this guy is not only this tech guy that could write software, because I was also not the best software developer at that time. It's the Shamulda and the colleagues in our IT division, like they were actually developing the software. I was the facilitator. I would know bare minimum is actually, but my main idea was to implement the thing. So combining all those things is actually that brought me where I am. And also, just to give you a short background, is why I really love where I am is because I started with Save the Children when I started with like the government primary education, with the local institution, with the teachers, with students. And from there, and it's a Save the Children, it's development, right? I moved to WFP, World Food Program, where it's completely humanitarian. If there is a crisis, WFP, they can, if there is a crisis in Bangladesh, 1 million people, they need food. WFP has the power to deliver this food within 24 hours. Don't ask me how. They know everything. They know the logistics. They know everything. So I got to learn from development. Then I moved to humanitarian. WFP. I spent 2 years of time, one of the best time of there. And also I think by far the smartest person, one of the smartest person that I met there was Kainat Kabir. Oh God, she is smart. She is smart. She was an IBA grad, and she was a killer.
Yes. Was the assignment based in Dhaka? You were based in Dhaka?
Yes, I was based in Dhaka. But when I was in Save the Children, I was going a lot to Meherpur and Kaliakot. But when I was in Dhaka, in WFP, I was going a lot in Cox's Bazar. But Cox's Bazar, that time the refugees were there, but the huge influx, it came after that. So it was not that before the huge influx. So. Mm-hmm. So I was based always in the Dhaka, but I went to the field a lot. So in WFP, I really learned. Yeah. Yes. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Mafi, we found one very interesting comment from Mr. Ratan Malo. He kindly wrote, "Inspiring to be more practical than academic. Average standard students bring the best to the world. Best wishes to you." So he's basically giving us a compliment. And of course, Mafi, you made it look very simple. You had a humble beginning, and we have not heard the entire story yet, but I know your story a little bit, and it's so inspiring. Like anything is possible. For instance, like we believe in abundance. We call it cultivating a mindset of abundance. This world is full of resources. So anything is possible when you believe, when you perceive, and when we take the action, right? And you were like a go-getter. So yeah, I can wait. But sorry to interrupt you. So please keep going.
No.
And tell us also what was your position in such an organization. Who is your supervisor? If you are happy saying that. And
of course.
Because this particular video, this video will go to our all social media platforms, and later on, the edited version or even the raw version will go to our YouTube channel. So literally, you are going to be global. Okay, so people can always check back, and it's like a story, from a humble beginning to the UN headquarters, right? So yes, please go ahead.
No, absolutely. I mean, so Save the Children, I was first an intern, and then I was, you can do as an intern only for 6 months. And then after the intern, there was no way, you couldn't extend intern. So I actually worked with Save the Children for free without any status for 2 months. And because at that time, I didn't care about an ID, I didn't care about money. And because we were so involved with the project, and so I just kept working. And I still remember that sometimes Ruxana Appa, she would try to hide some money in my bag, so that when I'm coming to the office, she knows that I'm not being paid from this organization, so that she knows that I have some money, so that for commuting I don't need to spend money. So I don't know how to thank her for that. And from there, they gave me a service contract, and from there, I got a fixed-term job in Save the Children. And they saw that what the value that we were bringing only from a small team, and then they regularized all our projects. And from there, when we saw that it's actually that our software is already in the national level, it's been replicating, then I got the chance. I sat for an exam, then I went to WP. And WP, that I was hired as a software developer. So I was developing a software for managing Bangladesh social safety net programs that actually managed by is disaster management. So it's MODMR. So that's the ministry. So from there, I started working with PIOs and started developing software. But then quickly, Kaina Papa, she saw that that I'm also very interested in research. And that's where I actually learned research. Developing questionnaire, it's actually going to the field, do the questionnaire testing, and the data analytical skill that actually came from WP. That's where I learned GIS. I wrote my first script of Python analysis there. I started learning, I started implementing, really started like production level, like application that was in WP. In Save the Children, everything was managed by our vendor, but WP, we had to do that everything from there. So, and also when I started working with WP, that's what I learned, the true power of statistics and the true power of data, that how everything is connected. And also it takes a mentor, it's actually to show you that. And how is that? So there is satellite, there is a geospatial data, and there is a data about like marketplaces in around the world, and how combining all of these, when a disaster hits, how you use the satellite data and using this data to target beneficiaries, it just blew my mind. And also true power of statistics that that I got to learn is actually taking a small sample, and from there you can make a prediction, and how you can really, and how almost close to accurate you can get, and how it helps to clear decision. It was just amazing, and I was really fascinated to artificial intelligence and machine learning. WP is one of the earliest agency to adopt machine learning. In my experience, I didn't even know that the tools I was using, that is artificial intelligence, that is machine learning. I started only learning about that, like I think 5 years ago, but I didn't even know that we are using machine learning and all the techniques that we have been teaching. So always, what really did work well for me, I would always ask why, and why this is important, why this actually helped there. And I would ask questions without any shame. So this is one of the tips, if I could give to anyone, one tip that will take you far. Be curious, ask questions. Do not be in an organization, do not pretend you are supposed to know that. You are supposed to know that. Do not think like, you came with a degree, probably you studied software engineer, you studied development studies. But if you come to a job and if you don't understand something, don't think, I studied that. So probably if I ask my supervisor, if I ask my peer, even if I ask my juniors about this, they will think less of me. No, never do that. I was always curious. And whenever I went and asked, I always found mentor, because they could see that I was honest. And no matter how stupid the question is, if I don't understand the context, I would go and ask. If I don't know any acronym, I would go and ask. If I don't know how this thing works, in development sector, there is no straightforward answer. You can Google 5,000 times. You will never get the answer because this is something based on practicality. So I went and asked. That's how I actually started building mentors, and that's how they were interested.
Mafi, it's a very interesting point that you raised. I'm glad that you put this on the conversation. I know an interesting guy from the US. He's called Naveen Jain. He's the founder of Viome. This is a very interesting research based company. They say that illness is optional. There's no need to have people falling ill. This is a choice that you can make, and they are doing all those research on guts and Viome and so on. And he has another company called Moon Express. This is they are sending, they are promoting the space tourism. Okay, and he is a very interesting fellow, and he says that when he does something, he has 3 sets of questions in his mind: why me, why now, and why this. Every time he goes for a new venture, he keeps on asking this question to himself. So this is a very interesting aspect that I learned from him. And today you are saying that your curiosity and asking questions that brought you here. So just I'm being a bit more curious. Do you have a set of common questions like 5W1H? Everybody knows it. Do you want to reveal your secret today? At least what are some of the questions that you tend to ask, or you tend to ask even to yourself, whether you understood it well, and which can benefit the young learners or young professionals, those who will be watching it even now or later on?
Yes, I will be brutally honest. I could give you 5Ws and all these terms that there are many researchers, many one read books. I have my own version.
That's what I want to know.
Yes, first of all, the question the thing I try to see, I always aim high, right? In my professional career, I always try to aim high. If someone is doing something remarkable, I always try to seek how they are doing it. How? So I would try to think what kind of tool they are using, what kind of books they are reading, and where they are learning it from. And I would always find those people and I would ask them honestly that how would you do that? So find out how. Be curious and find out how. And no matter what it takes to learn how, you need to go above and beyond to do that. And I would do extensive research. I'll give you one example that how far I go to learn how. The how, say for example, I saw one of the machine learning techniques that has been used in the University of California, Merced. They're using one of this Python library, and I was very curious. And then I started going after that, in a way. I found that professor, I found the team they worked for, and there is no way I had an option. The only way that I could find that if I can get this option is hiring one of the interns from my institution. And that's what it took. And that's what I did. If I cannot go there and learn, to bring that learning opportunity here. And also when and how much. How, when, and how much. Timing is the most important thing in your life. If you are not in the right time, in the right place, to be honest, the luck, I don't believe in luck, but I do believe in fate. And if you do believe in fate, were you in the right time, in the right place? Yes, that is something you really need to understand. And when is, you will also have to understand, when you can really sell something, when you can bring your pitch, when you can bring something that someone will absorb, or when to approach someone that they will give me something. So, and also it is to do a lot of emotional intelligence. So in my spare time, I watch a lot of videos on emotional intelligence, I spend a lot of time in TEDx, so that if I get a chance to communicate with one person, I would not throw them off by asking one wrong question. I would not throw them off by showing that I'm too much marketing myself so that I come across as a narcissist person, So, and also this is one of the things that I learned is actually from going to the therapy, is that, as a human, we are prone to many kind of cognitive bias. So how will you keep those cognitive biases in check so that when you get a chance, you don't blow that up and you can use it very well, right? And also seek for mentors. That's one simple thing. Imagine this, Mostafij, you studied at least for 6 years in your advance, from bachelor to master's. The academic is there to give you the broad idea about everything, but not everything that you apply there. We do work on a programming language. There is never-ending learning, but how much you need to learn to execute. This is something that I have learned from one of the beautiful person is actually who writes the machine learning books, Rocky Bhatt. In one of his books that he said is actually how much you are going to learn, how much you need. And then from there, when you need to do something more, then you learn more. That's why you don't spend so much time on learning wider spectrum, and from only subset of this knowledge you are going to apply. No, learn the subset of knowledge first and have the broader idea of everything and specialize it first. And then when you need other subset of things, you will start learning. So it's growing this emotional intelligence and also forming this question within yourself that helps you. You need to understand your capacity, that what is your weakness first before you know your strengths. Because if you know your weakness, then you can connect it to your strength, and you can polish your weakness to make it to the strength. If you only polish with your strength, probably you are not even looking at your weakness. So I always do reverse engineering. I try to look at my weakness and I try to, sharp it up so that I would go there. So growing emotional intelligence is important. Growing how to be humble is extremely important, and building trust. And that gives you a mentor, and that mentor can only tell you how to do things, and that's how you can excel. That is one person in professional career. I started career with many persons, right, with many colleagues, and I also saw that they're amazing people, technical people. They have amazing technical skill, amazing technical knowledge. But I also saw that they kept themselves only on the corner because they could not see that what is coming, how they can still keep themselves relevant. How? Because technology, just think of yourself. Now we are doing a Facebook Live. Can you imagine that 10 years ago? No, you cannot do that, right? So if you don't adapt that, now you have adapted that, you are using that as one of your platforms. So many things happens is that they don't grow, they don't try to see. And also if they don't have the mentor, they don't come and tell you like, hey, how the way you are doing, you are spending 2 hours of this time, but which can be done in 2 minutes. That only comes with experience. Academic or anything that you do, experience can never be replaced. Never be. No matter how sharp you are. What I do, can a MIT engineer do that? Probably the technical thing, they can do it a million better way. I mean, at the most extent. But would they do what I do for now? I'm not sure, because I have the institutional memory. 12 years of experience working for Save the Children, World Food Program. Then I went to a peacekeeping mission in Africa. I spent there 5 years. Now I lead a data team in UN headquarters. I report to an USG. The experience that I have, you cannot replace that. So now the interns that I groom, I tell them not everything that you learn, but what are the important things. So these are very important things. So be curious, know how, and whatever it takes to know the how and when, and know about marketing, how to do the marketing, because it's important, not only for yourself. You always you don't sell yourself, you always sell ideas. Could be you are the owner of the idea, but your team is the owner of the idea where you are an attribute to that. So always think about that, how to sell an idea, and you will have to know about marketing. So yesterday I was looking at one of the LinkedIn posts, right, and it was a funny meme, is that if someone is good at marketing, right, and whenever we think of this term marketing, we are thinking about selling a product, making profit. No, marketing means way broader than that. Way broader than that. If you are a good marketer, then probably with low code or something, or you can hire someone to build a product and you can sell that. But if you're a good software developer and if you don't have marketing skills, that thing is not going to scale. And that is so true. That is so true. So you know what is your weakness first, and how you will take this weakness to the strength, and how to find a mentor, that what it takes 5 years to do that, but someone can guide you to go there. And resources are always free. The data learning, I was one of the youngest Microsoft certified database engineer, one of the youngest in the world. I didn't even know that. It's actually one of the Microsoft MVP. I was having a conversation with this person, and she mentioned that to me, that she saw my name. I was like, what? I went to a Microsoft event. I was in Bangladesh working for actually Save the Children then. I had a Microsoft certification when I was working for Save the Children. And the thing is, like, how did I know how to do this certification? Is because one of the mentor who told me, study this, and this is going to pay you off. and that's what I did. How do I know about Robin Sharma? Because you, Mostafij, you told me, and I saw that you have this YouTube video. I still remember you were standing in front of your, wardrobe or something, and I don't remember what you were wearing, but you were not looking at the camera. You're looking up, and you were, your hands were flying around, and you were describing. That gave me interest. Like, why this guy is going there? That also gave me interest. Like, why the Shohag Mostafij is that guy leaving a managerial position from Save the Children to do what he is doing? Why? I asked question why and how. So you see, I study and I spend time, and there is no shortcut. You need to spend time on that. And to do that, you know what is the most important thing that you have? People say time. Yes, it is important, but the most important is your attention. Where do you pay your attention? Where do you pay your attention? You can spend your time on Instagram. I do a lot. My channel is filled with trading information and how do they do data analytics. I learned many of these things by just surfing through Reddit. The most knowledge that I have gained so far, I only spent $10.99 on Udemy, that which I recently, I did a PhD degree from University of California, one of the most respected machine learning, but I will learn way more than that just from this $10 of course. I learned from Rakib Bhai. He wrote the most basic book in machine learning. The Rakibul Hassan, I don't know I hope he listens to this at some time. What an impact he made in my life. The most basic book that you can learn on machine learning. But you know what he taught me? That he taught me the Zen of machine learning. He taught me the way to learn. He taught me learning how to learn. And that's the most important thing.
Excellent, Mafi. I'm super energized just listening to your amazing points. So, Mafi, what advice do you have for kids, for young people, like especially those who are in their 20s or early 30s, or even fresh graduates, or even at the very beginning of their career? Mm-hmm. Sometimes things are not very easy, right? Everybody wants to be so-called successful, have some good jobs, dignity, respect, or some so-called positions. But it takes time, right? It takes drive, passion, commitment, energy. Learning. You said like time is limited, but you gotta make a choice. So how to cultivate such a curious, driven, optimistic, or growth mindset? Because you see, like we don't live in a world. This world is not full of. It's not a bed of roses, right? There are lots of ups and downs. You gotta face the rejections. People might mock at you and belittle you, make fun out of your gesture, posture, or even your work. So having said that, in order for somebody, regardless of their position, to cultivate a growth mindset or global mindset, what advice do you have for them? And you have been benefited following those rituals in your own life. Already you have shared a lot, but still I'd be very interested in learning from you specifically.
So one of the main thing that I would say is that first of all is be curious. Curiosity is everything. Curiosity is everything. If you're not curious, no one can make you curious. If you don't curious, you are not going to seek for things. So you will have to be curious, and then you will have to be positive. Why curiosity and positive? Three things I would say: be curious. Be curious is extremely important. Be positive. And third is know your boundaries. If you know these three things, there is nothing else you need. How? If you have curiosity, then you will look at what people do, what people does. Like if it was 10 years ago, that it would have been probably easy. That my response would be something different. There's only this step. Probably learn data, learn machine learning, learn. Look at what are the best of the project that USAID is funding in Bangladesh, or what are the UN agencies is doing for the development sector. And for software, I would say everything. But now, no, you can shine in any way. You can shine in any way, and you can do so what you love. So be curious, and through that curiosity, you will know what you love. One of the most difficulties that I had as I started talking is that I didn't know that what did I love, and what I do. It took me a while to understand why I love it. It's simply because I just didn't know what I'm doing is it enough? Is it going to take me far? But I was curious. That's why I could ask this question. I could know this, and I could follow the people they were doing it. So when you will be curious, reach out. And how this curiosity is going to help with your positivity. Be positive. Reach out to people. Trust me. Most of the people are there to help you. If they don't, if you get rejected, don't lose your hope. Don't give up. It's because you know why. It's because everyone has limitation and everyone has their own priority. How I'm going to tell you is that many times that I see that people, they come and tell me like Mafi, you work for Save the Children, but you can only go there like if you already know someone in Save the Children. I didn't know anyone in Save the Children. WFP, yeah, you need to go there. If you know someone, I didn't know anyone in Save the Children. None. How did I get here? And did they really brought me here by something? I don't have the flashiest degree from your university. I speak English with an accent. I learned how to speak in English when I went to the first peacekeeping mission. Still, there are plenty of grammatical mistakes, but I know the language is a means of communication. It's just as simple as that. An AI can write better English than me, but that AI cannot do what I do. So, positivity is important. Is because when you apply for a job, when you apply for something, probably you're not going to get it. You could be very good. I could be very good friend with Mostafij, but I can still apply for a job, but still not get it from Mostafij. It's because of why? It's because I'm never going to I'm never going to, there are two reasons. If I'm a good person, I'm never going to recommend someone that where they will just come and they will just rot there. Then they have no chance to grow and they will be demotivated in while. And the second, if I know that it's not best fit for you, you are not in the car that to learn. I am sometimes brutally honest than sugarcoating something. If you come to me by telling like, this is your plan, this is something you do, and if it's really under my domain, I would not sugarcoat and telling you, yeah, if you try in 6 months, you can do it. And I mean, waste your energy. No, I would rather tell you, like, if you can spend your time somewhere, probably if you can get more. So be positive. If you get rejected from somewhere, possibly there is a reason for that. And the topic that I was talking to, like sometimes you apply for a job and you always ask like, hey, you only get into places that where, people know someone. Of course, when I hire someone, if I already know someone who has the right attitude and can do the job, why would I risk someone that I don't know? I don't know their attitude. I only saw their CV. That why would I go for that? Just think logically and take that in positively. So how would you know that person? Make the communication. If you're curious, you'll be curious to make this connection. Reach out. Remember positivity. Remember this thing is positivity, right? So if you reach out to someone, if you are positive, no matter what response you get, try to take it positively, always. And the third thing is know your boundaries. Because you are related to someone, because you are friends with me, because we went to the same alma mater, that doesn't give you an intake to get something from me. The same I would do from also someone. Also at the same time, I can be accessible to someone. Someone is giving you access to do something. Do not ever take any of the privilege as an advantage. So know your boundaries. Privilege and advantage is two different things. You can get privilege from many places. You can go to British Council for a $50, probably you can have access to thousands of books from there. That's a privilege you are getting from a very small amount of money that's given by British Council. Do not try to take advantage of that. Do not try to do so. Everywhere you get a privilege, don't take advantage. Try to make use of that. So if you're enough curious, so that you can ask anyone, you can read many things, and if you're positive, no matter what response you get, how many times you fail, that you can stay positive and don't give up. And if you know your boundaries, there is no way you can fail. So I would just tell you this very, very three things. And two of the things that would always make you stand out is that if you have empathy and if you are kind. Across the board. It's not only in your professional life. It's with your family, it's with your friends, everywhere. It does not require money to be kind, and it does not require to be empathy. I would take a person anytime that who is kind and who has empathy, that they would finish a task in 3 days, or a rude, obnoxious person that who would be probably able to do this in 1 day. Because the person who will do it in 1 day, they will bring toxicity in our work environment. Ultimately, it will be down. But the person is kind and have empathy, we will be growing together. Probably the learning curve will not be exponential like it will be for X, but surely we will grow. So just three things. Be curious, be positive, know your boundaries, and always inside, have empathy and be kind. That's all you need. That's all you need.
That's fascinating, Mafi. From Abunx, we tend to say that generosity or empathy or even kindness is the highest form of smartness, right? So someone can be very knowledgeable, has a lot of money and fame, but not being, honestly speaking, it doesn't attract us that much. And in a cultural context like Bangladesh or even in South Asia, often we tend to mix up between these two things. One is appreciation, and another one is just to take advantage of something people tend to appreciate or recognize a lot. So we need to find a subtle difference in between these two, because people need to be praised, appreciated for their good work, but it doesn't necessarily mean you are trying to take advantage of that. On the other hand, some people, in the name of praising or appreciation, they tend to take advantage. So these two things need to be made very distinct. Do you have any suggestion for young people, those who tend to work hard but they lack appreciation? How do they get carried out, stay motivated? That's one. And on the other hand, there are people, those who are probably holding some good positions, so-called senior level positions. Maybe they're not creating an impact, but still, they get supported by their followers or their subordinates, saying that, hey, you are doing a great job, you are unparalleled, you are second to none, and blah, blah, blah. So, the reality gets lost to a certain extent. So what is your take on those two circumstances or two scenarios that I've given you? If you can share your perspective, reflect on it.
That's really interesting. I will start with the second. I will start with the second one. So as as you said, Mustafij, life is not bed of roses, right? So you will always, no matter what you do, you will be always working with people, and people are different, and that's what made that's what we could form this society and form everything. So, everything in professional career that you will have to know of something very, very, very well is that insecurity. What is the insecurity and how do you find out what is insecurity is? That is very, very important. And the second is imposter syndrome. So let me explain these two things. One is that insecurity. It can happen. Insecurity and imposter syndrome. I mean, these are. I mean, you can even sometimes use interchangeably. So what happens is that sometimes some managers, some people, they go somewhere and they can hold some position, but sometimes they don't understand. They think they don't deserve that, and that makes them rude because they need to act something a bit different to show the power or something like that. The moment you can recognize that if someone is doing because of their insecurity, or it could be because of the imposter syndrome, because that they don't show their imposter syndrome, that making them this that is attributing to that. The moment you understand that, and if there is no way you can replace your boss, then you will have to just understand that person has cognitive bias, and you will have to be really, really, really know what cognitive biases are. And only thing that can help you is that teaching yourself emotional intelligence. That's the only way to survive. Because one person of your supervisor or like head of the car, head of a team could be narcissistic or could be overselling, overconfident, but someone else could be really nice to you but backstabbing. So that if you try to make a dictionary of characteristics, it can be a million. So it's impossible for you to know what is the cheat code actually to deal with a specific kind of people. You cannot. But one thing you can prepare yourself. So if you grow your emotional intelligence, then you will know that why a person is doing like that and how would you protect yourself. And remember the boundary, the thing I was talking before. And if you keep your boundary and if you do your work, the thing will go by. And one of the things I always tell my subordinates, and also I always tell this to my intern, do not get frustrated looking at your manager and blame your organization to stop working. If you come and tell me someone is stupid, the boss doesn't understand, the organization doesn't understand, and that's why you are not doing something, that's why you're frustrated, I'm sorry, I don't buy it. Why? It's because, organization and everything is designed not by one person, it's designed by a framework of people. I work for United Nations, I work for Save the Children. I saw so many things that could have been done differently. So many things. But that was my opinion. Probably I also advocated some of these things and things changes as well. But do not forget, an organization is it's like a big train. There are so many wheels turn together. Some of them probably, runs faster, some of them run slow. But all the wheels make the train or the car move. So always believe in that. Do not take an example of your boss or someone to stop you doing your work. Because you will be evaluated doing your work. There are always, someone will stop you. Your professor, in your school, your uncle, there is someone, because people are opinionated. People, they always think a different way of doing best, and they always protect yourself. So you cannot fight with everyone. Grow your emotional intelligence and go learn how to deal with these things. That's the only way. Otherwise you will feel lost. You will feel so lost. No matter what happens, never let other things come and bother you. Because if you are just an employee there, you are not married to something. So you can always change, you can always switch. And if you have belief in yourself, and if you really think that you have the courage, you have the empathy, you are a kind person, and you know what you are supposed to know, no one will stop you. You can always tackle that. So don't take that negativity, and you will never be able to change. Someone is 50 years. One of the things that's also one of my ex-boss is actually Arno Royer, is that he's one of the reasons that why I am in UN where I am now. He was always used to tell me one thing, I always used to get frustrated. I would design a system that something, if they would spend 5 minutes of their time, well, that would make at least that would improve the work quality at least 60%. But why wouldn't they spend 5 minutes of this time? I asked legitimately this question, that if there are 100 employees, if they do 5 minutes of their work really well, we can do 60% growth. Why do they do that? It's because it's the cultural change. Change management is very important. and not change management is always communicated in the system. And the thing is, you cannot change a person who is 50 years old, how they did their work, and you cannot just go and make them change unless they see a benefit. So being realistic is extremely important. And you will always have to design something, work on something that works for them, not you think what is the best. Because you are only one person. The opinion of 5 is always better than opinion of yours, no matter how smart you are. It's statistically proven. So you'll have to understand these things.
Mafi, your answers actually remind me one thing that is often we tend to hear from the billionaires, especially like Jack Ma, even Mark Zuckerberg. One of the interviews I found him saying, everybody knows about Mark Zuckerberg. He's the founder of Facebook, but nobody tend to acknowledge, or even the media, that there is a teamwork behind it, right? And obviously you gotta learn how to work with people, no matter how smart, better, older you are, unless and until you get to associate with people. I think then something is gonna be a massacre. So you are likely to experience some negative things on a regular basis. So while talking to you, I saw one very interesting comment coming from Miss Erica Sugarhal, that she wrote, "Valuable insights are being shared by Mafi, brother Mafi indeed, and thanks Abunx." So do you want to reflect on this comment?
Yes, I mean, no, thank you so much. I mean, of course, I mean, if you feel, I mean, what I'm saying is that, I mean, Mostafij bhai is very close to me, so I'm being very honest. I'm being brutally honest. So what I'm trying to say is, it's not textbook, it's not best practice, it's just sharing my experience. And I'm really glad that you found it useful. So if you have any question or something, please reach out to Mostafij. Yeah, I'll try my best if you have any particular question or anything. And thanks again.
Thank you. Yeah, Mafi, even I'm learning a lot from your sharing, your practical sharing, right? So Mafi, if I ask you another question, so see, regardless of different positions, or for a country like Bangladesh, usually people tend to go for either humanity, science, or commerce background, right? But with the advent of technology, we don't have any choice but to adopt those just to survive, be in the business or be in a job, or even entrepreneurship and so on. So what specific advice you have for people? At least these are some of the non-negotiable tools or strategies or technology that people need to know, at least the basics of that technology into their day-to-day life or business going forward.
Of course. One of the things that I would really say, you'll always have to keep yourself current, otherwise you'll be lost. Full stop. You'll always have to keep yourself current. And how would you do that? There is no book that will teach you. There is because the world is changing at a scale that's so fast. Like, I could literally generate what I would say in this podcast just by asking a generative AI platform, which could be ChatGPT, or or from cloud, from other sources or other vendors. I could literally do that, right? So one of the things that I would definitely say is that read. You'll have to read. You'll have to read. There is no other way. To keep yourself current, you'll always have to read. And to do that, you'll have to read newspaper, newsletters, many of these things. So one of the things that I always do when I'm cruising through LinkedIn, one of the best places is LinkedIn, that where in technology you will see that what are the new things coming, what are the things, and you will also have to know, you'll also have to build yourself so that you understand that who is trying to do self-marketing, who are being narcissistic, and who is actually trying to give you good insights. And you just need to follow some of these things. Like few of these things that I would definitely say that is one of the things, not because I'm a data professional, but basic sense of data and basic sense of cybersecurity is very important. Like having the sense of your privacy, like sharing something in public domain is very important. So always keep abreast yourself to know what are the new technologies are coming, and also try to adapt that. And always think, always understand, we are capable of learning amazing things. Sometimes engineers like us, we use jargon word to keep our job secure, so that I can say something that sometimes you wouldn't understand, but that's not the world anymore. You can literally go to ChatGPT and ask anything, and then you would get this answer. You can YouTube anything, any information that you want to learn. So I would definitely say that definitely read blogs and make useful of one of the things that I always do is that I listen to podcasts a lot. Whenever I'm traveling, I'm going somewhere, I cannot fall asleep, I listen to podcasts. This is one of the way I always keep myself updated with what's coming, what's going, what's happening in different kind of work. Because I work for UN, I need to know what's also going into the work. I work in a technology field, I also need to know what are the emerging things that are coming. So this is how I keep myself updated. And also, if you don't read, you won't be keep abreast about these things. And also it comes to the curiosity. If you're not curious, you won't be able to find. So adapt anything that comes in front of you and try to read and just be positive. Don't hear someone say like, using ChatGPT, something that is coming and a negative thing that you have heard and your take was that and you started like ignoring this thing. Don't do that. Be curious. Just don't take one person's negative opinion and discuss. Look at TikTok. People were laughing at TikTok. It was, unless to be honest, I was in the same boat. But then I read an article by Munir Choudhury sir. So it's actually Munir Hassan. So when I saw that he wrote so he has a Facebook group called $1 Billion Startup. He wrote a book and I follow this guy. I read everything that he does. So Munir sir's one of these things that when I saw that in TikTok, then I picked it up. No, it's becoming an industry and it's becoming a huge industry. So keep your mind open and whatever comes, try to approach things positively. If someone is telling you negative, just don't listen and just don't discard things. And one of the most important thing of is your privacy. Don't share anything in your private domain. As long as you don't do that, you should be okay. Don't be too afraid. Technology is stealing your information. If a hacker is coming towards you, I can tell you there is no way you can protect yourself. But at first place, don't do anything that would get you there. So explore and try to keep abreast of the new technology it is coming. And there is a jargon thing everyone is saying these days that AI is going to take your job. And also some group of people is saying is actually AI is not going to take your job, but someone is using AI will take your job. It can, that is inevitable.
And there is another school of thought. It's going to be the future battle is in between AI and human race, and how to get rid of that notion.
This is not something new. If you remember the movie, look at the Terminator 2 Judgment Day. One of the movie that I'm sure that you did watch this movie, Terminator 2. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a robot coming to save humanity because AI took over. This is not a new concept. This is not a new concept that AI can take over, and potentially they can, probably. Cell phone will help us connect, but also cell phone will make us like anti-social. Both are true, but you think no one knows how it will go. It can take over. Yes, and please go ahead.
Mafi, it's a very interesting conversation. We have gone over 1 hour, 15 minutes already. I'm just checking in with you. Are you okay continuing a little more? Because I'm enjoying it to the fullest.
No, yeah, sure. Another 10 minutes at most. Yes, then we can.
All right. So, thank you. Then I have a few more quick questions.
Yes.
Once you finish this point, you finish your point, then I will ask you some quick questions.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that do not think AI is going to take over the world. That's why you are not going to learn AI. How to use AI tool. One of the most advanced AI tool that you can just add text and it can create an image. That there are services like DALI that is by OpenAI, and also there is Stability AI which is a Bangladeshi guy who is based in UK who developed this application. So it helps. Like if someone has created that, then you tend to trust something. But sometimes we don't tend to trust something that someone we don't know. My one generic advice: if the world ends or something that happens, that will not only happen to you. That's going to happen to the world, and that's going to happen to comes to the humanity. And you have the safety net of institutions, government, international agencies, many things. If it can penetrate everything and can come and get you, only your preparedness probably is not the best way that can save you. The only thing that can save you: do not share your private information. That is not needed. Do not use social media obnoxiously that you will keep track all of your information that you can be scammed, or your identity could be theft, or your information could be used somewhere that you don't want to. So only thing you can try to keep yourself is your privacy, and you can only try to do your best. All the water that we drink in the whole universe, world's most expensive water, is not the most clean. It's not the clean. There is always something is the water, because there is nothing is called a clean water, because there is no clean water. There is something is added there. Does that mean that we are going to stop drinking water? No, we cannot. Who has the most money? Probably they will be able to buy the most, the sacred water from the Fiji. They will buy from there. Probably that would be the purest. But is it the cleanest? Is it the pure? No, it's impossible. So just think of that. So the air you breathe, is it pure? No, it's not pure. That is filled with dust and many of these things. But still you are breathing. That is important. That is vital, right? So please, anyone that I would say that be curious, and also don't try to discard things that is. Just 1 second, please. My monitor just got disconnected. Yeah, just be curious. The most important thing that you can protect is your privacy. Except for that, there's not much you can do. There is a safety net of the governments and institutions. Yes, please go ahead.
It's a brilliant advice. Thank you, brother, for saying that. Well, if I ask you quickly, given the exponential technology, right? So what was new even a couple of years ago, now it seems to be, I'm just giving a metaphor, it's obsolete, right? So sometimes we are at a loss to what extent I need to put my energy on certain things. For instance, learning about machine learning, AI, or Internet of Things, or some other stuff in relation to technology, because it's gonna change so fast. So given those exponential things happening all around, to what extent we should be able to remain focused or adaptive, or what we are gonna do, right? Just to make sure that we deliver our task well, we remain proactive, we remain happy. Actually, all this technology doesn't take away our peace, because in addition to that, we know when I was startled learning about this information, that our brain, this is so powerful, and all the digital content of the world can be stored on our brain. So to what extent we are capitalizing the power of the brain? That's the question. When I heard about it, it made me relax. It gave me a little bit of mental peace that, wow, it doesn't matter what happens in terms of technological advancement. Human, nothing can surpass the human brain. And because we have the emotion as well, right? And so I just shared all those things just to learn from your perspective, given the exponential technology, what we are supposed to do, what would be our mental state in order for us to stay relevant, productive, and most importantly, happy.
Yeah,
I know it's a big question. It's a big question.
I don't know how to answer this question, but I will tell you my version of the story. That how do I do? That's what. The technological advancement is always fascinates me, and my main domain of work is artificial intelligence, and I do work with deep neural network. And deep neural network is kind of like a black box. It takes input and brings out amazing things, and it is designed to think like human brain, like how our neuron thinks. The neural network is actually works like that. So after seeing this, that what we can do and what is the capacity of our brain is all summed up, and all sums up to one thing, is that we have 24 hours of day each day, and how we spend our time and how we actively focusing on things that the thing we want. How these two things are connected, I'll tell you. One is that there are amazing tools and technology that can distract you, that can also help you. What actually benefits you? That's the most important thing. Look, I use AI to look for jobs, right? Literally in my phone, I have developed one simple script that takes jobs from all the UN sites and some international organization, and it scraps and gives me one list of things that I could look at. I could do the same thing to look at what is like Louis Vuitton produce, like to buy things. I could also try to do things if I was a football fan, to scrap all the information for the football. So it's actually, the tools are there, the options are there. How would you use this information, and what is your priority? That is completely up to you. And we are sitting on a destination now. Previously, if someone is playing games all the time, we would say, oh, what a waste of time. But that's not the case anymore. You can make a good living and you can do great things just by playing video games, just by reading something. So there is no definition of a good boy, good cop, bad cop, good way of doing things, bad way of doing things. No. There's absolutely that. Those cheat code that used to work before, You cannot say right now that if someone goes to MIT or if there's someone goes to like Mostafij alma mater, Dhaka University, someone will do better. But if a student who just did his high school degree but who self-taught everything himself, who don't do better, you cannot tell. You truly cannot tell. And also, one concept is that, globalization, that which we tend to forget with this, all the new technology and many of these things. Everything has changed with the globalization, and we started experience that. Now you are exposed to the global market. You can work from Bangladesh to anywhere. Not anywhere, probably in Bangladeshi company, anywhere, just to earn $15,000, you need a bachelor degree. Here in the United States, where I work, so I got $218,000 per year job offer from Amazon Robotics. They didn't even know that I had a college degree. They just looked at my profile, they offered that. That's $250,000 a year. That's a lot of money, How? Because they looked at what are the things. They just looked at my GitHub profile. That what are the things that I have published there? What are the software projects that I made it public? They just reached out to me. They don't care if I had a college degree. The best coding teacher that I had, she is 23 years old. She is from a Latin, Hispanic. She hardly can speak English. She is 23 years old. Now I think she's 25 or 26. No, she would be more than that. 29 should be, it was long time ago, 28, 29. Probably she speaks better English now. She didn't know how to speak English, but she can write Python code. She works for Google now. She doesn't have even college degree, high school degree. So how would you use your technology? That completely depends. Instagram, Facebook, look at one of the person that I follow, Arif Jebutik, I don't know if you know him, is that he used to be a blogger in somewhere in blog. He's a very sarcastic guy, and also he's an amazing person. Like one of his friends, he told me like, how does he use Facebook and how does he follow people, right? I use Facebook to follow you, Mostafij. I also did follow some models in Ukraine, of course. I mean, it's based on the interest at what you want to do. So always be curious, and whatever the information you need, where you need to learn, just focus it there, channel it through there. You will go to LinkedIn and you will see there are many people that are flashing. I would say 60% are narcissistic. They are so eager to show what they can do. Most of the time, not giving credit to their team. Most of the time, not giving the credit to their organization. I can literally go and say today, like, one of this organization has reached out to me, blah, 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 all the things that I could say. Also that I could say something else, like, that I had the opportunity to share my learning of the amazing organization and academic institution I went to and could share some of this experience through that. So you see, there are two different narratives from there. So how would you coin your term? How would you think? And it works everywhere across the board. So AI, artificial intelligence, Mostafij, may I ask you, have you used ChatGPT?
Yeah.
You have. So you can use ChatGPT, to probably, if you want to, like, I don't know, if you want to make a recipe, make a startup company, something, but you can also use that to create jokes if you are a stand-up comedian, right?
Yeah.
If I'm a stand-up comedian, I can create jokes from that. If I'm a data scientist, I do all the data visualization now using ChatGPT, right? I could also use some stupid thing. I could also ask, I could try to trick ChatGPT to show something stupid, do something stupid. No, but you are using in one case, I'm using in one case. So the tools will be there. In your cell phone, in Bangladesh, there are more than 10,000 persons that at least I know, they earn more than 100,000 taka, more than 1 lakh taka just using their phone. They are marketers, they do marketing, and they do know the whole world of marketing. They know what are the customers are, what are the customer churn means, and many of these things. They just studied from YouTube and they have learned. More than 10,000 people earning 1 lakh taka per month from a mobile. But also there are a group of people, they can use mobile phone to do scamming. So, or probably not even doing anything. So it all really depends. So the tool will come, the tool will keep coming, the robots will keep coming, they will always be after job. Always remember, whenever a technology comes, it tends to take people's job, but also it creates a lot of other jobs. So you'll have to be on that other board. When the typewriter came, or any of this technology came, it did not replace person. It did not replace many of these things. It replaced to someone. Now that we are AI, soon will be answering question for you. So the phone operator will lose the job, but probably phone operator will get an upgrade. Phone operator will now start looking at things is actually from the huge chat history. What is the main problem my customer is facing? Now they will be more working towards on that. So you can say that the AI and everything is giving you a bump, giving you an opportunity to make yourself advance. So you are getting a promotion even without doing anything. But to get this promotion, you have to know how to use these tools. Yes. Mostafij. Oh, sorry, Mostafij. I also wanted to say, and just one thing before I finish, is that...
Yeah. Please.
One thing before I finish is that, sense of history, how history and politics and religion shape the world is one of the important things everyone should know. It gives you the sense of reality. It gives you the sense of reality why government, why political party, why business corporation, why family behaves like that. It's very important. You can ask me like how this is important, because sometimes we get confused, sometimes we get frustrated by seeing actions of your government institution, by seeing the institute like your organization is acting. Try to understand why do they act like that. Do they really want to lose money? Do they really don't want to serve 50 more beneficiaries? No, that's not their mandate. But there could be some problem. There could be some historical thing that is why. Learn about that. And that will give you the soothing of understanding. And probably that will help you to reduce the battle that you have within. Because if you're working in an organization and if you're fighting a battle thinking like, I'm getting a salary from a donor, and here we are spending money on having lunch of this money. And if you have this inner conflict within yourself, that is going to destroy you, and that will stand in front of your career advancement. Make peace with that and understand why this works, how this works. If you can do constructive criticism, do that. If you have to do being a whistleblower, do that. But do not be that person, blame and just sit back. That will not take you anywhere. That's the only thing I wanted to say.
Excellent. I'm just blown away by the kind of insight that you have shared, Mafi, and I'm so pleased to see you, the confidence that you have gained over the years because of your hard work, dedication, commitment, and curiosity. Most importantly, you have learned a lot, brother, and I wish you all the very best. I'm sure you'll continue to learn, grow, and make an impact around the world. And you are doing a great job, phenomenal, and you are an example for many. And today, I myself got tremendously benefited, brother. So, Mafi, from Abunx, our organization, it's a combination of two words: abundance explored, or exploration. So we believe that there is no scarcity of resources on the planet Earth. Sometimes we don't know how to tap into those resources, and we don't need to know everything by ourselves. For instance, if we work with you and you can bring in your technology competency around technology, right? And if you work with somebody else, for instance, Mr. Ratan Malo and Miss Erika Shubra, they commented today, and so far I know Mr. Ratan Malo, he works for a development organization. He can bring in his program management knowledge, and Erika can bring in her. She used to work for market development approach, and she can bring her that entrepreneurial knowledge skill. And if we can facilitate that knowledge, if we can facilitate a platform where all those competencies are leveraged, are taking advantage of for a good cause, then we definitely can create more impact. For instance, the development organizations, sometimes they have a good mission to serve, but what they lack resources in the form of human, financial, physical information or infrastructure, right? For instance, the project is designed in a way that it gets phased out in 2-3 years down the line. Then nobody talks about that, or nobody tries to connect with community, like what happened afterwards. So we find it very unsustainable way of designing program. On the other hand, in the for-profit world, what happens? All they focus, not all of them, but mostly all they focus on making profit. But human beings are not supposed to run after profit only, right? We are way more powerful than that. So if we can integrate the element of development in the business, how to take care of people, how to ensure human rights, dignity, respect of people, gender mainstreaming, and so on, then it can become very powerful. So be it development program or a for-profit venture, both the entities are trying to solve a problem. And our job is trying to be playing the role of a facilitator or enabler, so that both the parties can benefit each other while serving a common goal or common purpose or achieving a common mission. That's why we're saying that we'll be playing the role of a facilitator. And we are also very keen to learn about technology, what are the technological advancements going on, what is more appropriate for us, and how we can actually facilitate a platform where people can, like you, can bring in their global expertise, so that we all can learn, benefit. Because our human beings' lifespan is very short and very uncertain. We don't know when we'll have the last breath, but still sometimes we're chasing something which makes us at times very unconscious, like we are just looking after ourselves and we are not taking care of people. or even being empathetic, as you said, or showing our kindness. I think this is high time that we have selfishness, we have also selflessness, and from Abunx we call it that if we want to reach out to a new destination, we need to create a new pathway. The old destination will not take us to the new pathway or new destination, right? So that's why, regardless of any position or any situation, any job or business, we don't have any choice but to embrace the technological advancement and use it in a right way. And that's why today our discussion, I'm sure, has been very, for those who have made the time kindly to listen to us, or even will make the time to listen to you later on. I'm sure it has been a tremendous conversation, and we have already passed 1 hour 40 minutes. I had a few more quick questions, Mafi. I'm not sure whether you have that time, or you want us to conclude this session and we can catch up with you later on.
That would be helpful, yes, because I really need to go now. But yes, so the question that you have, I mean, feel free, please reach out to me, ask me anything. And, I mean, we have been friends, it's been more than 10 years, so please, I mean, anytime, I will be at your disposal. And it's been a pleasure to be here. And to be honest, and actually to share these words, not in an academic way, in a bookish way, on how I would like put that in if I would go and speak, because I do speak in a lot of places. So it's been a pleasure just to talk to you, like from like the things that really close to my heart, and many of these things. So yeah, it's been a pleasure, and thank you for inviting me here.
Thank you, Mafi. The pleasure is all mine, and you have been very kind. So, Mafi, before we conclude tonight's this particular session, any final word you have for our audiences?
Yes, the only one thing that I will say is that the world is a very, very positive place, but we always try to perceive that as a negative. But it takes everyone to actually think that way. If this world was not positive and everything, humanity wouldn't survive. If you really get in a travel or something like that, try to seek out. Then you'll always find someone or something that helps you. So I'll just say one thing: just be positive and spread positive energy, positive vibe everywhere. Just be happy, take it easy. Be happy, take it easy, stay positive. That's the only thing I would say.
Absolutely. It takes a lot of guts to see the positivity in everything and to spread love, as Mother Teresa very nicely said. Don't judge people because you won't have time to love them. So thank you very much, Mafi. It's been a real pleasure having you. I hope to have you again in our forthcoming episode, in future episode. And thanks everybody for joining us. And hopefully you can recheck this video. And I'm sure Mafi is always available to get in touch. Not always available, but he might be available to get in touch. And if you have any questions, please feel free. Isn't it, Mafi?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Great. Thank you very much, everybody, and hope to see you again. Thanks a lot, Mafi. Cheers.
Yes, thank you so much. Good night.